Be quiet, my mom podcast about coin. Get your ish together.
Welcome to Get Your Ish Together podcast for believers, where we learn how to shift our mindset so we can do it all and be all that we were created to be, boo. I'm your dopest hostess with the mostest, DeLisa New Williams here. Come follow me each week on this journey of Ish, inner self healing, that is, where freedom awaits, purpose is calling your name, and destiny lies ahead. It's time to be free, y'all. Are you ready? Because the future you is waiting. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, you are tuning in to another episode of Get Your Ish Together. I am your host, DeLisa New Williams, aka Dee Dee, and this one right here is going to be good. I've been holding on to this one, y'all, for some weeks now, so I am super excited I get to share what the capital G-O-D gave me to give to you. Are there any believers in the house? Absolutely. And even baby Amelia is here, okay? So she is in the studio too. So you might hear her giving a little quote-unquote baby praise every now and again, but that's just because she's excited about this episode as well. So recently, someone asked me, what does ish mean? And I told them, you better go back and listen to the first episode because, I don't got time to keep on explaining this. But for those who may have wanted to find out more, see, I purposely created this Get Your Ish Together brand because I like those titles that's like eyebrow raising. The ones that you be like, how this girl fake cussing in her title but talking about God. Yeah, those. Them the ones I like. Well, in my Coming to America voice, aha, aha. I got movie and music Tourette. So remember at the end of the movie in Coming to America when the Polish white version of Eddie Murphy was telling his joke about the waitress in the soup. And remember when he finally gets her to agree to taste the soup and there isn't a spoon for her to taste it with? And then he said, aha, aha. I know, y'all, I'm funny, okay? It's okay to laugh. It is. It's okay to laugh. Don't get your ish together. We're not going to be so serious all the time. Well, I created ish to mean inner self-healing. But here's the aha moment. The word ish means man in Hebrew, and the word isha means woman in Hebrew. So while I'm over here thinking one thing, trying to get this slap you in the face kind of title, God was in control of the whole thing all along. He was like, yes, get your inner man together, boo. I added the boo, not him. Well, that was the little history lesson for you today, or shall I say our first history lesson, considering that this is part 2 of the Central Park 5 special. I did the first part with my dope husband who graced the mic for the first time, yes, on my show. I was so honored to have him. I promise you I really was, because my husband, he is just so intellectual. He's so much smarter than I am. I promise y'all. Like, I got the degrees to prove, my smartness, but he is just amazing, his wealth of knowledge, and he's so wise. And I can't wait till the world sees what I've been seeing in him all along. And if you missed the episode, just go back and listen to it. You will surely be blessed. I promise you. Make sure you definitely share it with any fathers, male community leaders, and even mentors. It's really life-changing to hear the male perspective. And we did it around Father's Day too. Now, if you have Netflix, or if your sister has Netflix and you just sign under her account like I do, you probably either seen the movie series When They See Us, which is about the Central Park 5 guys who were wrongfully accused and convicted of rape and brutally beating a woman. The series was written by Ava DuVernay, my girl, and the cast acting was absolutely phenomenal, especially, okay, if you following anything on social media, you have heard the world talk about Korey. Go back and watch Korey scene, okay, because that brother made me feel his pain for real, for real. And I really want to point out how special Korey was to this story. That's why I titled this episode, How God Sees Us. See, the Netflix title is When They See Us. But what about how God sees us? Because as you're watching this, you're getting all emotional. You go through being mad. You hating dirty cops. Heck, cops, period. Okay? You see a cop, you just give him the sad eye. Politicians, especially number 45, you super mad at him. And I had to just take that anger and frustration to God. I was like, okay, because I'm going to be honest with y'all, it was messing with my sleep. As I've said before, I'm a mother of boys. We have 5 children all together. We're a blended family. And just being a parent, I was really upset. And I was like, God, you got to help me. Help me, Lord. Where were you in all of this? Like, where you at? And God showed me just where he was, especially with our boy Korey. And see, the interesting part of the story is out of the 5 guys, they picked up only 4 names that were on the list. So you kind of trying to figure out, how did they end up with 5? Because when they go and they're interrogating these people and they questioning everybody, it was only 4 names that was on that list, not 5. Okay, because it would have been the Central Park 4 instead of the Central Park 5. But the 5th guy named Korey, who I've been talking about, he only went to the police station because one of the boys that they picked up was actually his friend. And he didn't want him to go down there to the police station alone. He was telling them, your mama killed me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to let you go down here, by yourself. I'm your friend. I'm your guy, your homie, right? And so once the statements were given and the documents were signed and all the parents, they done picked up their children, the police officers, they was going over their statements, realizing that, hey, we all over the place. This person said he did it. That person said he did or he didn't. No, I didn't rape her. I just touched her. All this other stuff, right? Because the kids was just saying whatever they had to so that they could get the heck up out of Dodge and go home, okay, for real. And the kicker part is these kids, they didn't even know the other boys' names. You know what I'm saying? The police had to tell them. Okay, that's crazy. But hey, like I told you, you need to go watch this for yourself so you can really, just look at the whole details of the story. And once the detectives realized that their case didn't stand a chance, they got desperate. And there ain't nothing good about desperation, okay? Because when you're desperate, you'll find yourself doing things that don't make absolutely no sense at all. You're no longer desperate. You are dangerous, okay? You go from being desperate to being dangerous. And who was desperate? Pilate was desperate. The Romans was desperate. They didn't care about the facts. They didn't care about Jesus' statement, the miracles he performed, the people that follow him. Nah, they didn't care about none of that. All they cared about was feeding their desperation with an answer. And that answer was putting Jesus on that cross. And for the NYPD, all they cared about was feeding their own desperation with an answer. And that was putting these boys in prison. And so after they looked over all these statements, they realized that they had one person left to interrogate. And that was good old faithful friend Korey, who only went down to the precinct so his friend wouldn't be alone, right? So now remember, his name wasn't even on the list, okay? He was literally sitting outside the interrogation room, knocked out while waiting for his friend. He fell asleep because, they were interrogating him for hours and hours and hours on end. And that's when it all happened. The detectives beat him. They manipulated and lied to him, forcing him to make this false statement, agreeing that he was the one who actually raped this young woman. And all of this happened, like I said, because he chose to go down to the police station for not his next door neighbor, not the man on the corner, but his friend. And that's when it hit me, y'all. That's why I had to do a part 2 to this. This story was just sounding too doggone familiar to a sister. Like familiar, like John 3:16 familiar. The one who advocates for us. He too was lied on, persecuted, got the dog mess beat out of him. endure pain like none other, and he did it all for his friends, you and me. And so because Korey was 16, he didn't go to juvie. That's juvenile correctional facility for those who may not know slang. He went to prison, like grown man prison. And these prisons were hundreds of miles away from his home. So there weren't many weekly, visits for a brother, okay? It wasn't, no, let me go see him this weekend, pack a lunch, hey, no, it wasn't none of that. He was like, I think one prison was like over 350 miles away. So Korey would endure years in that horrible place, getting beat up. And every time, it was time for parole, for his parole hearing, Korey just couldn't admit to what they, wanted him to admit to. He kept saying, I didn't do it. They would ask him, are you admitting to the crime? Did you rape that woman? And he just never said, I did it. And so no matter how many times they whooped Jesus, they put that crown of thorns on his head, this man never denied who he was. He never, ever said that he was any other thing but the Son of Man, point blank into the period. He too never gave them what they wanted. And in the Passion of Christ, you could just see Pilate's face looking at Jesus like, just say whatever they want you to say. So we could be done with this parade of hatred towards you, Jesus. Like, come on, just be like Nike and do it. But hey, they lied on Jesus. They lied on Korey. And if you're listening to this right now, they lied on you or getting ready to, okay? Getting ready to lie, because I'm telling you, trust me, if you called to do anything amazing, great, life-changing, or simply walking in your God-given purpose, the haters will lie on you. So get ready to be lied on and do just what Korey and Jesus did. Don't explain yourself running off at the mouth. Just let God fight your battles. Now back to Korey. Because at this point, parole was denied time and time. And finally, Korey gets transferred to a jail that's further away, okay? He's asking to get closer to home, and they send him to one that's further than the one he was at before. Like, I mean, you watching this at this moment, like, what the H? Come on, what's going on? He asked for a transfer now. Come on, God, where you at? Like my Jennifer Hudson song, where you at? Where are you, Jesus? I mean, has that ever happened to you where you're in a situation that's already bad and you feel like it can't get no worse? Okay, yes, worse. See, when life is coming at you hard, you don't have time for proper grammar. And then, boom, it does. Your situation hits rock bottom. And when you thought you were losing your mind before, you're now at the point of like, why live at all? Just take it. And that's exactly where the devil wants you. See, what Korey didn't know, but God did, because he's omnipresent, he's all-knowing, is that jail he was transferred to, the one that he had asked to be closer to home, but they sent him further away, that was the place that he definitely needed to be. He was right where he needed to be at. Because the actual rapist and killer was at that same jail. But see, no one knew it. See, it wasn't in God's plan for Korey to go to juvie, because the actual person who did the crime, he wasn't at juvie. See, everybody else went to juvie. The Central Park 4, they all went to juvie. They was all under 16. But see, the actual killer, he was doing time, real time. So had Korey not went to the station for his friend, if Korey was not 16 and didn't go to prison, if Korey did not get denied parole every time for not agreeing to the lies they wanted him to admit to, he would have never met the actual rapist who admitted to the whole crime. And it was all because of Korey. And because Korey went away to prison, his mama even got saved. Yes, she got saved, gave her whole life over to Christ. See, you've done a lot for people, and God saw that. Better yet, he sees that. He see what you're doing right to the now. He knows that what you've endured and sacrificed for others, all of that, your family, your friends, or quote unquote so-called friends, trust me, he got you. He got you right in the pit of your situation. People have turned away from you and you have no explanation as to why. But God did that on purpose for your purpose. There's a part in the movie where Korey's mother, she comes to see him and she tells him she got saved. But she gives him an important message, and that was to forgive his enemies. And you looking at it like, come on now, girl. I know you ain't come all this way to tell me you got saved and forgive your enemies. Like, I know you got Johnny Cochran, somebody in your back pocket that got a plan. You know, this is just how your natural mind start working. Where your plan at? No, her plan was to tell her son, forgive your enemies. And I'm thinking about it like, you know who else did that? Jesus. He did the same thing. While he was on that cross, he asked his Father to forgive them, for they do not know what they do. And it's true, getting to that place of healing, that inner self healing, that inner man healing, what ish really means, requires you to forgive everybody you sacrificed and gave to, but they lied on you, misunderstood you. And here's my famous one: twisted your words. But it's okay because God allowed all that to happen just for your moment, for his glory to be revealed in your life. He allowed all that pain, hurt, and trauma to happen. So at the end of it all, you get the prize. The prize for Korey was exoneration and his story to be told, which is still saving others to this very day. Jesus' prize was conquering the grave and taking the keys to hell so you and I can have eternal life. And your prize? Your prize is freedom to pursue every God-given talent, gift, and calling on your life. Because what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And mad as hell at the devil for even trying you, okay? Yeah, you know I have to put a little DeLisa sauce on it all day long. So it's not about when they see us, they being the family, those fake friends, those phony supporters, the corrupt injustice system, and just the world, period. But more about how God sees us. See, God sees us as heroes, kings and queens, royalty. You a fighter, boo. God sees us as kings when they just saw us as little shepherd boys or even forgotten altogether. You know, when Samuel came to the house and asked Jesse about his sons, he ain't even mentioned David the first time. he brought all his other sons out. David was in the back tending to the sheep. And Samuel, like, I know it's some, baby, God didn't forget about you. They forgot about you, but that ain't how God see you. God don't see you forgotten. God see you remembered. God sees you as heroes that will save our people when others just see your beauty and say, other than her being cute, she ain't got nothing else to offer. See, God sees us as saviors when others just see us as a little carpenter or that's just so-and-so's son. Nah, I'm not just Debbie's daughter. I'm a queen. I'm royalty. I'm here for a reason and purpose. I am called. And guess what? Remember, so are you. So in closing, yes, it was wrong what they did to Jesus. Ain't nobody gonna lie about that. It was wrong what they did to those boys. And it's definitely wrong how they're treating you. But you can't focus on that right now. You got to keep your eye on the prize because that ain't how God sees you. And sometimes the prize is straight survival. And for others, it might be success or just being significant in a big, big world.
God sees us as powerful to withstand whatever the enemy is throwing our way. Don't be fooled. You're stronger than you think you are. This is your time and your season to rewrite your story on how the world sees you and tell them about how your God sees you. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to this mind-shifting episode on Get Your Ish Together. Make sure you follow me on all social media at DeLisa New Williams. Head on over there right now to iTunes and subscribe, rate, and review this dope podcast. Make sure you share as well. Also, subscribe to my YouTube channel where you get to see all the Get Your Ish Together, the TV show, every single episode, and get notified before I post it to the world. Remember, family, today is the day God will get the glory out of who? Your story. I am your host, DeLisa New Williams, and it's time to be free, y'all. I'm out.